Oh, hey.
Hello, I'm Ethan Wood from Crescent. The philosopher Karl Popper once said, "The game of science is, in principle, without end. He who decides one day that scientific statements do not call for any further tests, and that they can be regarded as finally verified, retires from the game." This holds true across the various disciplines of science. It strikes me as particularly significant for us, as graduates of a unique scientific and mathematical preparatory institution. The race in science is never over, and never will be. There will always be problems to solve and phenomena to discover. And so, for the indefinite future, the world requires the services of brilliant intellect and leadership. Human intellect is the most precious resource in existence, and society understands this. That is why society has invested in us, bright young minds with the capacity to improve, not just our small corner of the world, but the world at large. Challenges of an almost unimaginable magnitude await us as we shoulder the mantle of leadership. And what place better to develop in each of us the skills necessary to meet these challenges in the world than OSSM? OSSM is the premier secondary school in the state, if not in America. The purpose of OSSM is to cultivate young talent for the benefit of Oklahoma and the wider world. We are that young talent. We are the product of the investment of the state of Oklahoma for the betterment of the world at large. As such, I think it important to take a moment to reflect upon what that means and what a responsibility it bears. 2 years ago, each of us undertook the responsibility of receiving the very finest education available to us and of cultivating our intellect. For 2 years, we've been given the best of everything. The best instructors, the best housing, the best curriculum, and the best institution of secondary education in the nation. Now, it is our turn to reciprocate this patronage. We are obliged to return to the taxpayers of the state, those who have provided so much for us, a better world than that which was given us. Every graduate of OSSM should aspire to improve the world in some way, directly or indirectly. And yet, we're still in our infancy as scientists. None of us is yet prepared to shoulder the responsibility of repaying the investments of society. We are yet unfinished pieces, each of us traveling along our own path to completion. Our parents took us as children and transformed us from a tabula rasa to a human being with thoughts, emotions, and convictions capable of being shaped into adolescence by our teachers and mentors. The public school system took this product of our parents and turned us into young adults capable of preparing for our futures. And OSSM has been the keystone in the bridge from adolescence to adulthood. OSSM has taken the youthful, bright adolescent product of public schools and turned us into adroit, energetic members of the scientific community. We all have the power to decide our fates, engineer our destinies, and command our own ships. We are, all of us, quite surprisingly and suddenly, adults. And so, what better way to celebrate our maturity than by saying thank you? Thank you to the parents, grandparents, teachers, coaches, counselors, and friends who helped guide us in our long road here. Thank you to our heroes and heroines, our favorite literary characters, and the authors of all those books we read that inspired us to do what we've accomplished today. Thank you to the state and taxpayers of Oklahoma, without whose support we would not be here. And finally, I'd like to say thank you to my classmates. Firstly, for sharing with me what were undoubtedly the 2 best and most fun-filled years of my life. You guys are the best, and I'm going to miss you. And secondly, for giving me what is undoubtedly the greatest honor and privilege I've ever had, and allowing me to come up here and give my modest attempt to send off such an outstanding collection of scholars. Thank you. And in conclusion, because there's no better way than to send off such an outstanding collection of nerds, live long and prosper.